So we just started the automated sharing. I think I did not give the definition for the automated sharing.
You gave, ma'am.
Okay. So that is the yesterday's one. Fine. So why do we use the sharing rule? Why do we use the sharing rules? Okay. In other words, when do we use the sharing rule? When do we use the sharing rule, or when do we go for the automated sharing rule?
To make the sharing process automated, like if we want to share it to many users or public groups, so we go for the sharing rules instead of single user.
Okay. So basically, automated sharing rule is nothing but, for example, if I have an account, on the account, there are multiple conditions. Based on the multiple conditions, if they are meeting on, then I wanted to share the record. So what we have done so far in the manual sharing is we have to go to the each record and I have to click on here sharing. So that is a manual work. Even for the public group also, I have to click on a sharing and I need to share with the public group. Now, I do not want to click on this. I do not want to click on the sharing button. I wanted to automate the process as soon as the record is created or updated based on the certain conditions. Here, the condition is I have industry and I might be having an active equal to yes. So if these conditions are met, then I wanted to automatically share the record with Hyderabad group or somebody public group I wanted to share. So this is what I wanted to automate. Without a single click, we wanted to automate the sharing rule using the automated sharing. So how can we do it? In order to share the record through the sharing rule, Salesforce has given the various sharings. When I say various sharing is nothing but Salesforce has given this is a sharing rule. Assume that this is a sharing settings. Salesforce has given various sharing rules. What does that mean? That means for each object, it has their own sharing rule. For account, it has an account sharing rule. For opportunity, it has opportunity sharing rule. For the contact, it has a contact sharing rule. For the lead, it has a lead sharing rule. Every object, not only the standard object, for the custom object also, every custom object has their own specific sharing rule. So sharing rules are divided based out of the object. Example, like everybody is using the Outlook, right? Everybody is using the Outlook or Gmail, whatever you have. So whenever you get an email, usually what will happen, you have an inbox in the Outlook. You have an inbox in the Outlook or Gmail. Now you wanted to separate this. There are number of emails you are receiving from the different groups. You are working for, let's suppose you are working for the different team. Okay, in your company, you have a different teams. And now you wanted to differentiate that email for each team. For example, you are a manager for 10 teams. You are manager for 10 teams. Now tracking that 10 teams email in one folder is very difficult. Right, what we will do is we will create a separate folder in the Outlook or in Gmail saying that this folder is dedicated for team 1. This folder is dedicated for team 2. This folder is dedicated for team 2. This folder is dedicated for some blocks, and this folder is dedicated for IT, and this folder is dedicated for some other. Now, each folder has a specific purpose. Each folder has a specific purpose. Now, if I wanted to see about the blocks, then I can go directly here and I can click on this folder and I can check what are the emails that I have received it. Same thing. Sharing rule also same thing. Sharing rule also have a, each object level we have a sharing rule. Now, how can I see the sharing rules? Where should I need to go? So in order to go to the sharing rules, first thing is that we have to search the sharing setting. We have to search sharing settings. So inside the sharing settings, you will see here organization wide default. This is the OWD. But if you scroll down, okay, you have a sharing rules. You have sharing rules. Here it is a lead sharing rule, account sharing rule, opportunity sharing rule, case sharing rule, campaign sharing rule. Every object will have their own sharing rule. Every object will have whatever the objects that we have in the system, in the org, whether it is a custom or whether it is a standard, everybody will have a sharing rule. Now, in this case, if you observe, okay, we have a patient. Patient is, it is controlled by parent, right? Controlled by parent. Now, for the controlled by parent, what are the custom objects which we have, which is implemented master detail relationship. There are some custom objects which are implemented using the master detail relationship. The master detail relationship objects or master detail relationship child objects does not have a sharing rule. Does not have sharing rule because this master detail object is controlled by the parent, whomever it is connected to. For example, patient is connected to the account. Patient has a master detail relationship with the account. Now, if I select the account, okay, it will display all the related account and what are the account sharing rules are there, which is also applicable for the patient, Now, let's go ahead and see here. Do I have a patient? I cannot see the patient here. So only 3 are there: party, problems, process, exceptions. I cannot see the patients here. But whereas standard object also has the control by parent, right? Now if I see all objects, this has the control by parent, controlled by campaign, and here controlled by parent, controlled by parent, controlled by parent. For the standard objects, we can see that. If I go to the orders, right? Orders will have these information. I can see other settings. I can see, but sharing rules I cannot see. Here I can see the standard objects controlled by, but sharing rule is not applicable. So basically, whatever the master detail relationship is implemented in which are the objects, those objects we cannot implement the sharing rules. Sharing rules for them, how the sharing rule is going to apply? For them, the sharing rule is going to apply based on the whatever the parent object has the sharing rule. That's the same sharing rule is going to apply for child object of master detail relationship. Now, automated sharing. Automated sharing while sharing the records to the users with manual sharing. Manual sharing. If the number of records are more, I guess I have explained this one, automated sharing, yesterday. I remember that, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So yesterday I have given the automated sharing, that should be fine. And sharing rules are two types. Sharing rules are two types. One is owner-based sharing, owner-based sharing rule. And the second one is criteria-based sharing rule. Criteria-based sharing rule. Now, what is owner-based sharing rule? Owner-based sharing rule is nothing but in this approach, based on the record owner, based on the record owner, will share the record to the associated groups. Now here I'm not checking any conditions. Here in owner based, I'm not checking any condition here. Based on the record owner, we are going to share the record to the associated group. Now, whereas criteria based sharing rule is we are going to verify certain conditions here. That means it will share the record to the required public group based on specified user defined conditions. Specified user defined conditions. So these are the two things. Now, how can we do that? Owner based and criteria based. We'll see that. Now let's take one requirement and we will implement that requirement. Let's suppose the requirement is configure the sharing rule. Configure a sharing rule on the account object to share the account record, to share the account records to the Bangalore site group or Bangalore sales group. And what level of access we will give? We will give the accesses with read write. With read write access. So what is the first? We will see the criteria based here. Configure a sharing rule on account object to share the account records to the Bangalore sales group with read write access based on the certain conditions. Based on the certain conditions. What are those conditions? First, we will write the conditions. So on the account level, we have a rating. Rating should be hot. If rating is hot, and the second condition is we have something called industry. Industry equal to finance. And the third condition is we have an active checkbox. Active equal to yes. Right? These are the three conditions. If any of the record that meets this criteria or that meets these conditions, I wanted to share automatically to the Bangalore sales group. Let's go ahead and implement. Let's take the account. Account is a private sharing rule. Okay, let's click on the sharing rule. Now here we will create a sharing rule. First of all, here account sharing rule. Using the sharing rule to make automatic exceptions to your organization wide sharing settings for the defined set of users. Role and subordinates includes all the users in role and the roles below that role. That means if you are sharing roles as well as the subordinates, everybody is going to get the access. So why are we using the sharing rule? Here it is mentioned. You can use the sharing rule only to grant wider access to the data. If you want to expand the access, sharing the record to the another person, or in case of restricting the access, either sharing it or restricting the access, we go with the sharing rule. Now here let's create a one sharing rule. Samskar IT. Let's say that sharing the account. So I'll say sharing account. Now description, I can add it here to Bangalore sales group. Now here there are two types of sharing rule, owner based sharing rule and criteria based sharing rule. For now, we will go with the criteria based. Inside the criteria based, what is the first thing we have? Rating equal to hot. Rating equals to, let's click on this. It will show the options here. Let's say hot. Now, what is the second condition? Industry equal to finance. Let's add the industry. Industry equal to finance. Insert. Now, next thing is active. Active equal to yes. Right? Active equal to yes. These are the three conditions. Now here, how many conditions can I add it? If I keep on adding here, it will keep on like add a row. Like I can add how many ever I want. Like this, how many records can I add it? Like this, how many records can I add it? You can add as many as. There is no limitations. There is limitations are available. Like here, 5 are there, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. It's allowing more than 10. So as many as we can add it here. There is no restriction, I guess. There is no restriction, seems like. Fine. 23 is max, more than enough. Now, okay. So you can add as many as conditions we want. We can add it here. So this is my criteria. Criteria is rating, account rating has to be hot, account industry has to be finance, and account active equal to yes. Now public group, who is the public group? Bangalore sales group. What kind of access we are giving it?
Read write.
Read write access. We are only giving the access to the account. Opportunity cases by default it will show, but right now we have a private here, and this is also private. Let's assume that I'll give the read only. Let's say there is a pop-up which will come because we are going to change some level of access to the, based on the certain criteria, we are going to share the record to the certain members. So it is just an alert message kind of a thing. The recalculation of sharing access will continue in the background. You will receive an email notification upon completion. Do you want to continue? Yes. So once the sharing rule is updated, then we will get one email saying that your sharing rule is updated. Now, here we can see the sharing rule. I can delete it, I can edit later. That's not an issue. Admin also can delete it. Admin also can edit it. What are we doing here? What is the conditions we have? Account rating equals to hot. Account industry equals to finance. Account active equals to yes. So that is what our conditions. Whom did we share? We shared with group, public sales group. Public sales group. Now here account, we have a read write, opportunity read only, case read only. That is fine. Now here something, we have something called recalculate. Recalculate. What does this mean? Recalculate. Recalculate is nothing but reapplying new condition to the existing records. For example, tomorrow something has changed. Now I have changed my criteria. Okay, this criteria was there for almost 2 years. After 2 years, I have changed my criteria. There is right now, we do not want a rating, we do not want industry, we do not want active. We want a different 3 conditions. There are different 3 criteria are there. Now, when I applied it, okay, when I change my criteria, if I want my existing record should apply this criteria. Whatever the existing records are there, those should be applied to this new criteria. Then in that case, I wanted to reapply this criteria to all the existing record. In case if I wanted to do that, click on the recalculate. The recalculate is going to calculate everything here. Account, recalculate only if your sharing rule update have failed or they are not working as expected. Sharing rules are automatically recalculated when you say your changes or do you still want it to. There is another scenario is your criteria is not working. Because of some changes, it did not apply to the existing records. So existing records, it did not work. In that case, you wanted to recheck this. You wanted to reapply this to everybody inside the organization or something is not working in the sharing rule. Then you wanted to reapply this. Then we click on the recalculate. So for now, we have just created it. It is going to apply.
Is it similar to edit, ma'am? Edit logic? We can also edit it directly by changing the criteria, right?
Edit is something you are changing the criteria here.
Yeah.
Okay, but does this criteria applies to the existing record? Like you have it, for example, this is the record, it is there. Okay, so what are the criteria you have edited? Okay, when you update it. So when you update it, what will happen? It will update in the account sharing rule database, it is getting updated. This is one table. Account sharing rule is one table. Whatever you have edited, it is just going to edit and update the data into this table. But apart from this table, you wanted this criteria should be applicable to all of them. Whatever the objects I have, whatever the records I have in the account object, for everybody, this criteria should be applied. So edit will not work. Edit work is to save into the table. But in order to apply this criteria to all the records in the account is where we can do the recalculate.
Okay.
Now this is done. So we have applied this criteria we created. Now we'll configure a sharing rule on account object. This is done. To share the account record to the Bangalore sales group. This is done with read and write access. Read and write access. For testing purpose, what we will do is we will log in as one of the user. For testing purpose, we will log in as one of the user. Let's suppose we have a user, development user. So I'll go ahead and create a record. I'll create a new record. Okay. Let's suppose this is the new customer name, sharing rule on test account. And what is the criteria that I have? Rating hot, industry, finance, and then active checkbox. Yes. So these are the three conditions. Let's save it. As soon as the record is created, see here, there is a message which came. Let me create a new one. Sharing rule 2, 1. Rating is hot, industry is finance. And then we have something called, yes. Perfect, let's save this. As soon as the record is created, see here, customer sharing rule 1 was created. And what happened? Here, 2 group of users. Here, 2 group of users. Edit, who is that group of user? Bangalore sales group. I did not click on anything. I just created the record. I just created the record. It is automatically shared with Bangalore sales group. It is automatically shared with Bangalore sales group. Bangalore sales group. We did not do anything. Now, who is there inside the Bangalore sales group? Whoever the users are available in this group, everybody is able to see this record. Now, let's go ahead and see who is there inside the Bangalore sales group. How to go to the public groups?
Set up search for public groups.
We have to search for public group. So inside the public group, we have a Bangalore. So let's go ahead and see. 2 users are there. One is manager user and testing user. Now, as this person, right now I did not share manually anything to this person. Right now, let me log in as this person and see. Let's see this person, whether this person is able to see the customer information or not. View all. Let's say customers. All. Sharing rule 1, sharing rule. So 2 records are automatically shared with this member. So which is going to happen based on the criteria. Which is going to happen based on the criteria. Now inside the public group, okay, apart from these users, I also wanted to share with somebody else. For example, I have here what we can do, we can add a users. I can see all the users here. Okay, assume that I have a different users for the different profile. Some XYZ profile is there. They are the internal users and they have the read-only access. Now, there are few users I do not want to specify here. Okay, there are different users. One user is from, let's take this example. Okay, now let's go to paint new. Now assume that these are the users are available. Okay, this user in different profile, this user in different profile, this user in different profile. Everybody is different profile they are in, right? Now I have some more users. I have some more users where the partner users, assume that I have a partner user, where it is not showing here the partner users. But they have some access, assume that they have some access to the Salesforce. They have some level of access to the Salesforce. And different kind of a users I have, which I can, it is not showing here. It is not showing here. but I wanted to share those records to these users. There are some additional users which is not displaying in the users level. I wanted to have some users which are not showing here, which is the additional users, and I wanted to share them. Now, partner user, I cannot share here the record. If I have a partner users, I cannot share the records to the partner users. Or if I have some guest users or somebody users are there, which is not part of this. Now, in that case, what we can do is we will go with the delegated administration group. What is the delegated administration group? First of all, what is the delegated administration? Now, if you search here, delegated, there is a delegated administration. Okay, click on open. What is this delegated administration is basically, below are the delegated groups defined for your organization. You can choose to delegate the user administrator, customer object administrator, or here see delegated user administrator or custom object administrator, or both to the delegated administration to the object. Now, before we come to here, now yesterday somebody was asking about the delegated approval. Whenever we are creating the user, we have something called as a approver setting, which is a delegated approver. So what is this mean? Basically, whenever we are creating a new user, okay, for example, let's take a example. I'm submitting the reimbursement to the company. I'm submitting the reimbursement form or some form I'm submitting it. If you're not working in the company, you will not aware of the reimbursement. There is a kind of a some amount or invoice, or I'm creating the user. Okay. I'm creating the user in the Salesforce org. Whenever I create a user in Salesforce org, there is a restriction from the company side that whenever we create a user, it has to be taken an approval from the manager. It has to be taken an approval from the manager. Right? So whenever we are submitting those kind of information, the manager has to be approved. Then only the reimbursement or invoice, it will go to the next level saying that, okay, you are approved to give the information. Like for example, if I'm submitting some form and that required a manager approval. So once the manager is approved, then only the form will go to the next level, further processing, right? But in case if the manager is on leave, if the manager is on vacation, or some sick leave or something happened, manager is not available today. Now, do we have to wait for the manager till he's back? We do not know whether he will be back tomorrow or day after tomorrow. We are not sure. Basically, we want the approval today itself so that the process will move on. Now, in that case, whenever the manager is not available, we will have a second manager or some optional manager or temporary manager, which the person can approve the reimbursement or approve the finance, so that the investment, so that they can take it to the next level. Same thing here. Whenever the manager is not available, if we want a delegated approver, that means another approver. Delegated means somebody else. When the manager is not available, during that time, we want another approver to approve it. So in that case, we use the delegated approval. Now here, delegated administrator. Delegated approver is different. Delegated administrator is different. Delegated approver is different and delegated administrator is different. Both are different. So basically delegated, what is the meaning of the delegated? Is nothing but someone or some other person or different word, second person or authorizer, somebody who is taking the another person responsibility for some time. So that is what the delegated here. Okay. So now let's go ahead and see the delegated administration. Let's click on the new. We are going to create a group here. New delegated group. This is just a group. I can give any group name. So I'll say that this is a delegated group. Now, we are not, whenever I'm creating the group, I'm not mentioning anything here. I'm not mentioning the profile, I'm not mentioning the role, I'm not mentioning the public group, I'm not mentioning the OWD, I'm not mentioning the sharing setting, nothing is there. Okay, so nothing, I'm not mentioning anything. I'm just creating a group. Some table, I'm creating it. Some table, I'm creating it. While creating the table, we have something called enable group or group for login access. Now, in case if you check this, in case if you check, whoever the users are there in this group, whoever the users are there in this group, everybody is going to get the login access. Everybody is going to get the login access. Whoever I'll give I'll include the users in this group. We'll see how to do that. But for now, enable group login access. I do not want everybody to log in into the Salesforce, right? Which is Salesforce also recommended to not enable this. Salesforce also recommended that to not enable this. Just a disable for time being. In case if you have a requirement, whoever the users are part of this delegated group, if we want, then we can use it. Now let's click on a save. As soon as I click on a save delegated group, there it comes here. Now, here delegated administrations. So if I wanted to add any delegated administrations, right now we do not. We have who is the admin part. That who is the admin part, all the delegated users who will be taking care of it. Right now, we do not have anybody here. Right now, we do not have anybody. In case if you wanted to make a delegated administrator somebody, you can select it. You can select it. And also I have something called user admin. User admin, you can add all the users here. For example, I'm adding the users for the role and subordinates. I wanted to add all the users who are part of the COO. I wanted to add them. When I added, what is happening? It added the action, role and subordinate. That means whoever is part of this delegated users. Let me add the users. Let's take user development. Let's take the user testing. For example, I have added these two users. Right, these two users. Also, I have added the COO. Now I can add role also here, role and subordinate. Now, once this is created, I have just created it. I have just created it. Now let's go back to the public group. Let's refresh the public group. Now here I can see the delegated groups. I can see the delegated groups. It only shows the group. If I change the top, it doesn't change anything below. This section is different. This section is different. This is not rendering. Whenever I change anything here, this is not rendering. So I can select this group. When I select this group, what will happen? All the users within this group, everybody is going to get the access for whenever the record is criteria is met. And whenever we are sharing the records to this public group, it is also going to share the records to this delegated group. All the users, whoever is there in the delegated user, everybody is going to get that. Everybody is going to get that. Also, I can assign the profile to the group and I can assign the public groups to the group. Public groups to the this delegated group. Also, I can assign the custom object administrator. So when I say custom object administrator, it is going to ask custom object administrator where it is going to show the custom objects. Right now I have two objects. If I am going to play the high, maybe I'm more interested, this delegated administrator is more interested on a hiring manager and some other custom object. Then I can select those custom objects and I can keep it. In real time, I have not seen using this anywhere. Okay, this is especially for the giving access to the different group of the members. So which we do not want in the real time. We do not use it in the real time, but if you have a requirement, which is a unique requirement, then you might go ahead with this. So that is a public group, right? So now coming back to the public group. So this is what we are sharing the records using the automated sharing. Using the automated sharing, as soon as this criteria is met, we are sharing with the public group. Now let's suppose that we have another scenario for sharing. For sharing, how many types are there? Which all are ways we can share the record?
3 ways.
First one,
Manual sharing, automated sharing, and Apex sharing.
automated sharing.
Apex.
And the third one is we have a Apex sharing. We have Apex sharing. Fine. So these are the 3 sharings are available. Okay. So manual, automated, Apex sharing. So these are the 3. Now we have understood how to do the manual, how to do the automated. Now coming to Apex sharing. Why do we use the Apex sharing and when do we go with Apex sharing? Where automated is already taking care of criteria based and owner based. Okay, coming to here, owner based. Now let's cancel this. Sharing rules. There's a sharing. Okay, sharing rule. So let's create a new one here. When we say owner based. So owner based is nothing but by default, like here, account owned by member. If there are any groups, public groups owned by this person. When I select this based on criteria, I do not see the owned by. It is showing the criteria shared with. Now, as soon as I change here owner, it is showing the account owned by the member of it. So I can give all internal users or role based. If I have any user which is a part of this role or role and subordinate, we can give this. But mostly in the real time, we go with criteria based because the owner level is very high level. I cannot define it at the user level. I have a public groups, right? If I want a user level, I have to create a public group for them. Right, I have to create a public group for all the users, whoever is the owner of that. For example, I have a ABC owner. Whenever the owner is creating the record, I wanted to share the record with another member. So whenever the owner is ABC, I wanted to share the record. Now for that ABC, I have to create a public group and keep that user in that group and select that public group and select the public group and share that. Right? But mostly we go with the criteria based. We never go with owner because in real time, users are not creating and we do not want to play with the owner. In the real time, we do not want to play with the record owner. We always wanted to check the criteria based. Doesn't make any sense if you are playing with the owner. Tomorrow somebody else is going to come or somebody else is going to go out. So owner does not work in the real time. That's the reason we always go with the criteria. Now, so sharing rules, we have a manual, automated. We have a manual and automated. That is the automated is owner based and criteria based. Now coming to Apex sharing. Why do we need Apex sharing when already automated sharing is taking care of it? When automated sharing is taking care of it, why do we need it? What is the scenario that is required here? What is the scenario that is required here? So let's assume that dynamically I wanted to share the record. Dynamically, I wanted to share the record. When I say dynamically, so for example, let's take the same thing, account industry. Okay, account industry equal to, we have a banking and active equal to true. If this condition is meeting, then I wanted to share with Hyderabad sales group. If it is meeting, then I wanted to share with Hyderabad sales group. If account equal to industry, account industry equal to banking and active equal to no. Let's assume that I have here one more condition, which is a place, which is a place. Place is here Hyderabad. Whenever I receive any account from the Hyderabad, I wanted to send the group to the Hyderabad group. Here place is, let's assume that place is other. Whenever the place is other, I wanted to send it to the Bangalore group. Right? Now I can create a public groups for this. I can create a public group and I can create a sharing rules for this. I can create a two sharing rules, I can apply it, which is possible. But here, there are some scenarios which are like whenever the account is dynamically created by somebody else, or lookup field is somebody user, or field name is shared to. Let's assume that there is a proper real-time scenario is we have a, on the account level, we have a one field which is called as a sharing to, sharing record to, sharing record to. We have a, another field which is called as a sharing to, right? Whenever the account is created, okay, and if user is mentioning sharing to specifically somebody else name, okay, sharing to is a field. I have a field in the account. Sharing to or reports to, these are the fields which we are created inside my account object. So whenever the user mention anybody's name here, then what we wanted to do, by default, I wanted to share the record with Hyderabad group, or I wanted to share the record to the Bangalore group. Based on this, I wanted to share the record. Right, this is a custom. In public group, I cannot mention that share to equal to user development. I cannot mention because share to can be changed. Anybody give anybody's name. I have 100 users. 100 users, out of 100 users, anybody's name the user can give. I don't know which user the user is going to give. Which person the user is going to mention here, share to record. We do not know that. So for that, what we have to do, we have to create a Apex sharing, which I cannot handle it using the sharing rule. I cannot handle it using the sharing rule. I cannot handle it using the sharing rule. So in those scenarios, we go with the Apex sharing instead of going with the sharing rule. So this kind of some unique requirements are there, and based on your architecture, everything, we will go with whether you should go with the sharing rule or Apex sharing decided by the architecture. Fine, we will see with the example in the development class. Whenever we are doing the sharing here, we will do one example. Fine.
Okay, ma'am.
Any questions?
No, ma'am.
So interview questions. What is sharing rule? What is automated sharing rule? What are the different type of automated sharing rule? What are the different type of automated sharing rule? What is apex sharing? When to use apex sharing? What is the difference between apex sharing and automated sharing? Automated sharing rule. Assignment. Let's implement the same. Configure the sharing rule on the custom object. If you have any custom object, implement it on the custom object. Share the custom object records to I guess you guys have the patient object, right?
Yes, ma'am.
So let's take the patient object. Records to the Hyderabad sales group. Patient place equal to Hyderabad. Patient active equal to yes. Patient amount or patient P is greater than 2000. P is greater than 2000. We wanted to assign it to the sum group. And second, one more criteria is patient status equal to critical. Status is a pick list. Values are critical, medium, or daily visit. These are the status. Fine. This is the first assignment, and the next one is next assignment. Second, two assignments. Any questions? Before I log off, any questions?
Oh, ma'am.
Okay. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Bye.